For PC gamers, Unreal Tournament has been one of those staple games that, along with Quake 3, basically popularized online arena shooters. Its intense, fast-paced formula is still hard to beat, as the latest installment, Unreal Tournament 3, goes to show. The big change is that this time, the game's getting released on the consoles as well. While many longtime fans might scoff at the idea of using a gamepad, the fact is Epic's done a surprisingly great job. Rest assured that after spending some time with the PS3 version, the game doesn't feel like a port at all. The controls are tight and natural, and the game is still plenty of fun. Even if you've never played Unreal Tournament before, the game is easy to pick up. The game modes include several varieties of deathmatch, capture the flag, and a territory control game called Warfare. Most of these modes are similar to what you've seen before, but new vehicles and a host of gameplay tweaks will definitely keep things interesting. Unreal Tournament plays fast, especially compared to the average console shooter. Epic turned down the speed a notch for the console version, but it still makes games like Call of Duty 4 look slow. Thankfully, the speed feels just right for gamepads. UT3's arsenal of weapons is just as satisfying as ever. All of your weapons still have their same primary and alternate firing options, although there are some small changes here and there, such as the return of the impact hammer, and some changes in the way that you perform actions, such as your double jumps. The hoverboard is a great addition for those big maps that'll make you wonder how you ever got by without it. It also provides a nice added layer of strategy, since the increased speed comes at the cost of potentially being knocked down with a single hit, and dropping any item that you might be carrying, such as the enemy flag. Basically all the new additions here are great. The power orbs introduced in Warfare mode are a good example. Carrying one of these allows you to instantly capture an enemy node, rather than waiting around for a timer to finish as most territory-based games require. They add a totally new dynamic to an otherwise similar type of gameplay. The wide range of vehicles is a lot of fun as well. The Necros and Axon vehicles fit similar roles, but feel sufficiently different. Some of the Necros vehicles, such as the Dark Walker, are especially creative, and most everything is easy to learn and fun to blast your enemies with. While Unreal Tournament is obviously all about the multiplayer, the game includes a single-player campaign as well. You can tell Epic put a little more effort into the single-player this time out, as the game includes a plot complete with cutscenes and even branching pathways. The story can get a bit ridiculous, as they openly talk about respawning and try to give military significance to a game of capture the flag. But it's fun nonetheless, and a good way to learn the ropes if you're a new player. You can also unlock new content this way, such as characters to use in multiplayer. The only downside is that sometimes you can feel handicapped by your allies. They're often less than efficient when it comes to handling power orbs, and on one occasion half of my team decided to jump into the Leviathan vehicle, only to get it hopelessly stuck and spend the entire rest of the match inching forward and backward without luck. Thankfully, even the single player has online co-op, although the game doesn't offer any split-screen modes. There's also an instant action option. This lets you jump into any map available for any of the modes and play against the bots. Sure, the bots may not be as fun as playing against human opponents, but if you crank up the difficulty, they can still put up a fight, and at the very least, it's a great way to learn the maps. Honestly, playing UT3 makes you wish that more shooters included the option of bots in their multiplayer modes. As is to be expected, the graphics are very good. The game's sci-fi look makes heavy use of organic-looking technology, but there's plenty of variety in the maps that you'll be visiting. Chances are, though, you'll be too caught up in firefights to stop and admire the scenery. The sound is great as well, with plenty of meaty explosions when you reduce your enemies to chunks, and the familiar booming voice of the announcer letting you know when you're on a rampage. The maps themselves are excellent for the most part, especially some of those that are obviously intended for the new vehicles. There are even some remakes of classic maps that look better than ever. The only problem is these make me wish there were more remade maps from UT1, as those remain some of the most memorable maps from any multiplayer shooter. Thankfully, things like that are almost certain to be taken care of thanks to user-created content. User-made maps and mods have always been a big part of Unreal Tournament, but the promise of being able to access this content even for the console game is a great bonus. If you like shooters, this is seriously one of those games that could end up keeping you busy for years. While Unreal Tournament 3 may not be a radical departure from past games, it's an extremely polished title that's easy to pick up but will take you time to master. If you have even a passing interest in multiplayer shooters, this one is well worth the investment.